It's been a long 3 weeks with no Shaman King content. The only thing I had to get me through on Friday was the Bad Batch, and the least to say about that, the better. But nevertheless, the damn Olympics are over, Shaman King is back, so it's time to talk some Shaman King. Right now, usually is when you hear me talking about a premise for the episode, or usually a video playing on top. Things are gonna go very different today because there's not really a premise for this week's episode. It basically finishes off where we left off last time very quickly, and then it's very much a setup episode, which I think can disappoint a lot of people. I myself am disappointed in a certain way. But before I get down to all the spoilers, all my thoughts on this episode, let me know yours. Start the conversation in the comments below. That's the most important part. And thank you so much for clicking on this video. If this is the first time you're watching a video for mine, consider clicking the subscribe button down below. It does a ton to help get the content out there, and you'll join a beautiful film fan and anime fan community we got here. And like I said, this is very much a setup episode. It can disappoint a lot of people. I myself am disappointed in a certain sense, but it's not really the show's fault. In the long run, honestly, when this show is all done and we can just binge it whenever we go back to rewatch it, this episode will fit very well in the continuation of the show. It just feels lacking that we had to wait 3 friggin' weeks for another episode, and it's just setting up whatever is coming next. I do really like the opening scene where we have the meeting of Hao and Anna and Manta and the others, and there's this really cool interaction between Hao and Anna as she goes to slap him. The most powerful character so far in the anime, let's not kid ourselves, has been Anna. She commands everything and everyone around her. She's the boss in this place. But when she goes to slap Hao, he catches her hand, and this drops jaws everywhere. It drops Manta's jaws, Tamao's jaws, my jaws were dropped as well, but Hana still has her left hand, and so she slaps Hao and puts him in his place, goddammit. It was just a really fun interaction, and it's fun to see these two characters who have never really interacted before come together, but the scene remains true to them. Hao is not afraid whatsoever of Anna, but everyone else is, as the show has established very well, but Anna is also not afraid of Hao, and we know how everyone should be afraid of Hao. And then the show takes a turn because our heroes are a little bit still moping from Harusame breaking and Amidamaru is all sad, but they decide to make their way to Patch Village and to carry Big Guy Bill to help so the shamans can take care of him, but Lyserg disagrees, and so they carry him. They eventually find a Patch Village, but now they're directly in that place with the Great Spirit. It's a very different location than what we saw in the previous adaptation, and I just think that's very interesting. I always think that to help a story, you'll always put characters in the most interesting location. Make every single thing with your characters, with your story, with your locations, every single tiny detail as interesting as it can be. And very much the village essentially is the same, where the tournament will happen, where our heroes stay in the inns and whatnot, but the Great Spirit is right there in front of them. They don't have to wonder what it looks like and then eventually reach a place where they see it's right, it's in the middle. Like, it's a fucking volcano just of energy there with all the souls coming into it, and our heroes find it and they faint and they have these weird off-putting visions. For some reason Yo is naked, and I always call it the naked thing when animes do that. And after this, Yo wakes up after this weird vision. Silva is there taking care of him. The others are there too. Silva wants to give him a banana and fish soup that just sounds fucking disgusting, man. I like fish. I like bananas. I like soup. I don't want any of those things together. And so yeah, it's Yo waking up, meeting up with Horohoro after he wakes up, and then meeting up with Ryu, who also just woke up but is all very sad because Lyserg is not there anymore. He woke up and then he just walked away, and the one thing we see of Lyserg is him kind of going mad. It looks like this almost comes out of a Joker comic book, a Joker origin stories comic book, and that's what little bitch Lyserg looks like he became. And there was just a big disconnect for me in this scene because there was no payoff from it. It was just this one scene, and that we don't see Lyserg again for the rest of the episode. But also, they said he was gone, but then he looks to be in a similar looking room alongside the halls that the others are in. So I didn't really get the gist of what happened to Lyserg. Maybe they were lying, maybe he's still there. But I don't know, it's just confusing. It's this one little stupid scene that doesn't matter. I know it's very nitpicky, just wanted to put my thoughts out there. My favorite part of the episode by far, because I laughed my ass off. I don't know if I'm going to be alone in this. Let me know if you thought this was funny, if you didn't think it was funny. Our boy Chocolove makes his debut and nobody cares. He comes in dropping more exposition about how there are these big three forces in the tournament. There's house forces, then there's the X-Laws, and then there's someone else who I forgot the name of. It begins with the G, but basically all the leaders of these three forces are god-class shamans. And Chocolove keeps making his puns that nobody cares, nobody thinks it's funny. The funniest thing about this is really that the more puns he makes, the more people punch him, and the more beat up he gets as the episode goes along. It's just really fucking funny. I couldn't stop laughing. But as Chocolove explains, they have to join with one of these three big forces and make up teams of three elements, of three shamans. And Ren, he goes with that. He says that he wants Chocolove in his team, and then whoever wants to join in for the third place between Horohoro and Ryu, he doesn't care. And Ryu says he doesn't want to join if Lyserg isn't there, so Horohoro sees himself belonging into Ren's team. And of course, Yo forgot Harusame. He forgot to take care of what he promised for Amidamaru. And I just think that's funny. I think that's pure Yo. There's a scene earlier in the episode that I forgot to talk about where everyone is down because Harusame broke and they don't know where to go and whatnot. But Yo quickly puts a jovial sense of fun back into the team. They're all together. They all have this one mission. They're all gonna do it together. And I just love Yo for that. I think this episode, again, it's very much a setup episode. Nothing really happens. But it speaks to Yo's character. And I always appreciate those little sprinkles of detail in these episodes to guide the stories forward. But as the episode ends, Tamao and Manta are alone in their room, I guess. We don't really see how they got there. We just see that they got there with the help of Yo's father, and now they're just there. And as Manta goes to look for the others, because Anna went to meet with Yo, and she did meet with him, Manta is walking around, and suddenly he looks to the side. There's Faust, all fucked up, in a wheelchair, looking up at the Great Spirit, singing a song that I don't recognize, but maybe you guys do. And honestly, I had completely forgotten that Faust was meant to come back at this point. At this point, I always skip the intro, so I don't see it. I like the song, it's really great, but I've seen it, don't need to see it anymore. But Faust is there, which, of course, he's the third element in the team of Ryu and Yo and Faust. So I like that he's there. I want to know how he got to that state. What the fuck happened to him? Maybe it was Hao. Maybe we'll get a connection between Hao and Faust. But I think that's a really sweet note to end the episode on. And then hopefully next week, the next one gets things going full throttle. So as I said in the beginning, very much a setup episode. Nothing really happens. It's a perfectly watchable, perfectly enjoyable episode of Shaman King. Even if only to fill that Shaman King shaped hole that we've had in our hearts and souls for the past 3 weeks. I think it's a good welcome back for the characters. I enjoy spending time with that. It's just not that special for the story in general. And so those are my thoughts on this week's Shaman King. I know it was a bit all over the place, but again, I had to pick things up around the episode to talk about. Otherwise, there's really not much to talk about. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. Remember to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How much have you missed Shaman King? What do you hope to see next week and in the weeks to come? And of course, if you've watched the video this far but still haven't subscribed, please consider clicking that button, because if you've seen this far, you enjoyed it on some level. Thank you so much once more. I'll be back very soon in more reviews, and my reviews for episode 1 of What If, full spoilers, is up right now, as well as my review for the first 3 episodes, spoiler free, are also up for that. I hope to see you in those and in the future. And until the next one, love each other and love the movies.